The fear you're running from is the same fear that's controlling your life. And the day you decide to face it, everything changes. Let me tell you how I learned this the hard way. A few years ago, I was stuck. Not because life was hard, but because fear had quietly built a cage around me. Fear of failing, fear of being judged, fear of losing everything. And the funny part, no one else could see it, but it was ruining me from the inside. I was avoiding big opportunities, staying quiet in meetings, and saying no to things my heart was screaming yes to. My world was shrinking, day by day, not because of what was happening outside, but because of the stories I was telling myself inside. The fear felt so real, so heavy, like a constant weight on my chest. Every morning, I'd wake up with this sense of dread, this feeling that something bad was about to happen if I stepped out of line. It wasn't a monster under the bed. It was a monster in my head, whispering all the ways I could fail. I realized something that day. Your fear doesn't disappear. It waits. And if you don't face it, it grows. It starts as a small doubt, then it becomes a nagging worry, and before you know it, it's a full-blown prison that dictates your every move. It feeds on your inaction. The more you avoid, the stronger it gets. I was feeding my fear every single day by choosing comfort over courage. And that's when I knew I couldn't live like that anymore. I was tired of being a spectator in my own life. I decided it was time to fight back, to understand this invisible enemy and take back control. So I started a journey, not to eliminate fear, but to learn how to dance with it. I found this awesome 5-step framework that not only helped me face my fears, but totally changed how I deal with them. Today, I want to share those 5 steps with you. The first step is to identify the monster. Fear is loud, but it's also blurry. It's this vague, dark cloud that hangs over you. But you can't defeat what you can't define. You need to give it a name. For the longest time, I thought I was just scared of public speaking or failing at a new project, but those were just the symptoms. So I sat down with a pen and paper and forced myself to get specific. I wrote down, what am I truly afraid of? Not just failing, but what does failing mean to me? And as I dug deeper, the real answer emerged. It wasn't about the project collapsing. I wasn't scared of failing. I was scared of being seen as a failure. I was terrified of the judgment, the whispers, the "I told you so" looks from people. It was the shame I was running from, not the act of failing itself. Once I defined it, the monster suddenly had a face. It was no longer a shapeless phantom. It was a specific, understandable thought. And once you can see it clearly, you can start to dismantle it. The second step is to break the illusion. Most of our fears aren't real. They're just predictions your mind invented to keep you safe. Your brain is a worst-case scenario generator. It's trying to protect you, but it often goes way overboard. So, you have to challenge it. Ask yourself this critical question. Has this catastrophic fear actually happened before? I look back at my life. Had I ever been publicly shamed to the point of ruin? Had anyone ever truly pointed and laughed at me for trying something new? The answer was no. In fact, most of the time, when I did stumble, people were either supportive or didn't even notice. I realized nothing happened. No one cared nearly as much as I thought they did. It was all in my head. Studies show that over 80% of what we worry about never comes to pass. 80%. Our fears are mostly fiction. The moment you shine the light of logic on them, they start to crumble. They lose their power when you realize they're built on a foundation of what if instead of what is. Now for step 3. Shrink it into pieces. A huge, overwhelming fear looks impossible to conquer when you see it as one big monster. If your fear is starting a business, looking at it that way will paralyze you. The goal is too big, too distant. So, you have to break it down. You chop the monster into tiny, manageable, bite-sized pieces. For me, my fear was launching this new, creative project and being judged for it. The thought of the whole thing was terrifying. So, instead of launching everything at once, I started with one message. I decided my first step wasn't to launch a project, but to write one email to a trusted friend and ask for their feedback. That's it. That one tiny action. Then the next step was to design a single logo concept. Then write one paragraph of the introduction. Each step was so small, it felt almost silly, but it worked. I was moving forward. It's like climbing a massive mountain. You don't look at the summit and get discouraged. You just focus on the very next step in front of you. And before you know it, you're halfway up. This leads us directly to step 4. Do the smallest brave thing. Courage is not about making one giant, heroic leap. That's a Hollywood myth. Real courage is small, uncomfortable steps repeated daily. It's about building a muscle. You don't go to the gym once and expect to be strong. You lift small weights consistently. Fear works the same way. You have to take one small, uncomfortable action every single day. Not something huge, not something that will give you a panic attack. Just something that pushes you slightly outside your comfort zone. My first brave step literally took 10 seconds. It was hitting send on that email I mentioned. My heart was pounding. My palms were sweaty, but I did it. And the next day, I did another small, brave thing, and another. These small acts of courage create a powerful feedback loop. You do something scary, you survive, and your brain learns, hey, that wasn't so bad. I can handle this. My first brave step took 10 seconds, but it changed everything because it proved to me that I could act despite the fear. And finally, step 5. The most powerful of them all. Rewire your identity. This is the final step. The one that makes the change permanent. After you've identified your fear, challenged it, broken it down and taken small actions, you need to lock in the progress by changing how you see yourself. For years, my internal narrative was, I'm a person who is scared of taking risks. That was my identity. So, naturally, I behaved like one. But as I started taking those small, brave steps, I consciously began to tell myself a new story. I started telling myself, I'm someone who faces things. Even if I was scared, I'd say it. I'm nervous. But I'm the kind of person who shows up anyway. Once you adopt that identity, fear loses every time. Because it's no longer a battle between you and the fear. It's just a feeling you experience while you do what you were going to do anyway. When I stopped seeing myself as a scared person and started seeing myself as a courageous one, my entire life shifted. My actions started to align with my new identity, and what once felt impossible became my new normal. So let's recap the 5 steps. First, identify the monster. Get specific about your fear. Second, break the illusion. Question if it's real. Third, shrink it into pieces. Break it down into tiny steps. Fourth, do the smallest brave thing. Take consistent, small actions. And fifth, rewire your identity. Start seeing yourself as someone who faces challenges. This isn't a magic pill. Fear is a natural human emotion, and it will always be part of your life. But it doesn't have to be the part that's in the driver's seat. You get to choose. You can let it build a cage around you, or you can use it as a compass, pointing you toward the exact areas where you need to grow. Every time you feel that resistance, that knot in your stomach, know that on the other side of it is a stronger, freer, more authentic version of you waiting. Your fear won't chase you today. This could be the moment you finally stop running from it. Thanks for watching.